How you doing? Right now, I'm up here on Mount Washington, my mom's family's homeland. This is where my mom was born and raised, and this is where my grandparents are from, still to this day. Right now, I'm at the statue called Points of View, dedicated in 2006. This is Goyesta, and this is George Washington. This view, or this statue, depicts the points of view between the two leaders. We know George Washington. This is what Mount Washington was named after. This statue depicts an interaction between the two in 1770. These two met in 1753 when George Washington was only 21 years old, coming up from Virginia to basically survey the area, to basically view the area and basically survey it for the British Empire, for the colony of Virginia. Let's come over this way. So, to give a wee bit of a background about this area and to get a wee bit of a background about this region in general, this is Pittsburgh. This is my homeland. As you can see, this is my home, my headquarters. This area, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, this is not what you would think it was going to be at the time. This is nothing what yins think it was in 1753. What I'm saying is that during the 1750s, before the French Indian War, come down this way, we're gonna come down this trail. Walk with me. So during the French Indian War, this area was the wilderness. This was a vast area. Come on. Here's the plaque depicting the exploration of basically the territory going out to the west. In 1803, Lewis and Clark were commissioned by Thomas Jefferson, the third president, to go down the Ohio River, and as you can see, it goes down that way, basically to explore the Louisiana Purchase, what America purchased from France. And because this area, like I said, in the 1700s, this was a vast wilderness, an open area, uncharted. And you know, everybody thinks that Pennsylvania was a rectangle at the time. They thought it was basically present-day Pennsylvania, but it wasn't. Pennsylvania stopped in the middle. All of this was open. This was all Indian land or Native American land. And get Pittsburgh right there, the background. And the Indians owned this land for thousands of years. This was their territory. Now, as yins know, Europeans being Europeans, this wasn't going to be Indian land anymore. This was going to be claimed by the empires. Now who is going to claim this land? Who is going to claim this territory? Well, the French are already trying to explore this. They're already coming up into Virginia's claims. And as yins probably didn't know, the colony of Virginia is England. It's Great Britain. The French are already going to try to claim the point. They're going to try to claim the three rivers. You control the three rivers. You control commerce. You control basically North America. The Ohio Valley is so strategically important for both sides. Now in 1753, when Governor Dinwiddie sent a 21-year-old George Washington up here, he basically wanted him to survey the area, to basically give reports to England, the mother country, of what the French are doing. What are the French up to up here? Because the Ohio goes all the way out. And as yins probably know, most of the European empires don't know what goes out there. They know there's more land out there, but this is, let's just say, the doorstep to the Ohio Valley, to the Western Territory. But this is still a Western Territory. Pittsburgh, the point that we're at right now, this is uncharted territory. This is unsettled, rugged, wild wilderness. And so when George Washington set up here, he basically comes back to Virginia and he reports to Governor Dinwiddie. He says that the point is being claimed by the French, Fort Duquesne. The French are trying to set up a fort here. The French are trying to claim the Ohio Valley. They're trying to claim the three rivers. And this right here, all of this, the three rivers, all this land, is the reason why the French and Indian War was fought. This was so important. You control these rivers. This is like the highway of the empires. This is literally the headquarters of the empires of North America. I mean, you had the colonies, but this is so important to the empires in Europe, the French and English empires. You know what I mean? So in 1754, ironically, a 22-year-old George Washington, the statue's up there, he starts that war in Jumonville Glen, accidentally. But him in Jumonville and the English war party, they come across French soldiers, and they open fire on them and kill them and murder them. George Washington was held responsible for that. Then you had the Battle of Fort Necessity in 1754, and then General Edward Braddock in 1755 comes up to basically knock the French out of Pittsburgh, modern-day Pittsburgh, off the point. That doesn't go so well. But 1758, General John Forbes of the English comes up from Fort Ligonier, and then they finally knock the French off of the point, and the French burn Fort Duquesne, and then the English reclaim it as Fort Pitt, and that after William Pitt of England, and that's why this is currently called Pittsburgh. Now, it's really cool because us from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we really don't see the city as significant. We don't see the city as anything special. We don't see this as, oh, it's not as big as New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Boston. We don't see this place as anything special, so to speak. But we don't realize that historically, they're going all the way back to 270, 80 years ago, this place was so significant and so special and so important that it started a world war called the French and Indian War. This was a world war fought over this. And many historians say, well, it was fought all over the world. But it was fought because of this. Because of the French and British coming together and clashing in this region, in this area, in southwestern Pennsylvania. But this would not be settled and civilized until many decades after, going into the 1800s. Pittsburgh would not be established as a legitimate city until 1816. It was still a city, but it wasn't a legitimately established, settled, civilized, industrialized city until the early 1800s, going into the 1820s. And it's really important to know this as Pittsburghers, as Yinzers, because it brings a lot of satisfaction and significance to our city and to our region that we are living on the soil that started a world war between England and France in 1754. It's truly remarkable. So anyway, me, Logan Joyce from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, from Mount Washington, my mother's homeland. Got downtown Pittsburgh right there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Peace out.